It happens all the time to me. When people are bullies out there, they are narcissistic individuals out there that are always looking for their edge and their any kind of little thing they can to attack me, to attack. And it's been like that for most of my life. With friends, family members, everybody. And I feel like I've been attacked by everyone. And what I mean by attack is not like physically attacked or verbally attacked, but just there's silence. Silence is another way of kind of bullying someone by being completely silent to whatever good they're doing. They're like, I can't acknowledge anything good. I will acknowledge anything bad that I can find, and that's what they wait for, so they can jump on that bandwagon. There's so many experiences in my past life, that I can talk about, but it really is a lot. I mean, almost like every incident, every time I get involved with new people or doing new things, they eventually just end up going against me. No matter how good I'm doing, how great I'm doing, how innovative I'm being, how motivated I am, all that will turn on me, and they will speak poorly and badly about me, no matter what. I mean, there was a time in I got an example of my life, and it's just like I was a painter, house painting, and I was part of a project where they were restoring old homes, like Victorian homes in the Midwest. So I would put in my bid and get the interior paint work, right? And I would kick ass. I was really good. I mean, I was kind of in demand. People liked working with me. And so here I am doing my thing, moving along, happy. And there was another contractor there that was more into the carpentry part of the work. And he had two men working for him. And so that was their deal. And I think he charged the client by the hour, kind of like him and plus two people. And that's how he worked it out. So one day I hired someone on during the end of the day, and I gave the new person that was going to work for me the layout for the next morning, because he was going to end up showing up an hour before me. I would show up like at 9, and he was going to be there at 8. And so I spent like a good half hour of laying out the groundwork of what he could start to do to prep to get ready for 9 o'clock when I get there, so that way we can really kick in and do some work, right? So I show up to work the next morning at 9 o'clock, and I noticed the guy I hired was not doing anything. Nothing had been done, right? He was there, but nothing that we had spoken about the day before for like a half hour, me laying out the game plan, was done at all, right? And I was like, well, what's going on? I went and found him in this house. It's like a 3-story Victorian home. It's a big home. So I found him, and he's working with the contractor, right? And I go in there and said, what's going on? And he was like, well, I was here just hanging out, and acting like he didn't know anything. He was like, I was just hanging out. Nothing was going on. You weren't here. And this other guy, the contractor, knew that he was there to work for me, went ahead and hired him that day, that morning, that within that, like at 8 o'clock or 8:30, hired my man to work for him that day, right? And I was like so upset, and I was like, what is going on? Why would you do this? And why would this other contractor just step in on my game and do this, right? And I kind of let the guy know that it was uncool. But I let it go. So I went ahead and went down to the basement and started prepping myself, started getting things ready. And as I was down there doing that contractor guy, who I really didn't know very well, we really weren't friends or anything, came running down to the basement to yell at me for reprimanding his employee. He's working for me, and how dare you, don't you ever talk to my employee like that. And I was like, but he's only been working for you like a half hour. He's supposed to be working for me. So it was like this complete reversal, like this individual waiting and looking to gaslight me to set me up for any little bitty spark to attack and attack and attack me. I mean, and in a vicious way too. It was really vicious. It wasn't like he came down and talked to me and said, hey, sorry, I hired this guy on. I didn't know he was supposed to work for you. It was more like, it was like his man, and I was way out of place for letting this guy know that it was uncool for him to be doing this. And so that's just one example. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. I can, story after story after story. I'm always constantly being set up by bullies and narcissism and people who just do not like me rising to the occasion, who do not like me stepping up and doing great and doing good. The more better I do, the greater I get, the better I do, the worse that they hate me. It's like the more of a setup they look for to crush me and push me down. Now, I'm only talking about this because of our current administration, and this is what it reminds me of. And it reminds me of this narcissism approach. And it's almost like you don't have to put somebody down to make yourself look good. That's the thing. Every time I hear this new administration speak, they're constantly, every statement is, look how bad they are, look how great I am, look how great I am. I am doing things for the first time in history, and in the compare, like, and look how, so it's just this narcissistic reassuring himself and others that this is me being great, by putting down other people, by being a bully. And sometimes when I saw our current administration talking to the Ukrainian president, I mean, that whole fiasco, people are probably like, yeah, they go, put them down. And I was just like, that is so uncool. So what? You have all the, the guy has no cards or whatever. That was your statement. You have no cards. I have all the cards. So therefore, you're going to have to do what I want you to do. That is very, very gangster style, very mafia style, and is bullying other people. So I can look, so that person can look great. And that's being great. Just be great. Just be good. Just do things that are really good. Do not stop comparing yourself to people that are less than you. And even if they're not less than you, if it's true or not, you're always, it seems like every time I hear this person talk, it's just this constant putting down, put down, put down, put down, put down. And we got to be careful about that. You got to be very careful. And if you're not careful, you're just going to buy into it. You say, yeah, put down those people because we're up here and you're down there and we're going to show them, and that's just, like I said, that's just full-on narcissism action. Being a narcissistic individual and getting more and more people to buy into it. And everybody is buying into it as far as I can see. They're just like all, like right there. They're like, yeah. I'm thinking like, that is very uncool. That's not, appropriate. And if you do hold upper hand, be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. Know that you are, and negotiate with the person that doesn't have that many cards, or whatever you think is going on. You see, that's what it is. It's what you think, and what you think is going on, you try to put it out there as to what it's really going on. But that's not really what's going on. It's just this hyper narcissism, like to the max. It's like from 1 to 60 really fast, about how horrible people are and how great I am. And that is a huge red flag. And I can think about this for all the administrations, not just this current administration, even the last administration. It wasn't so much narcissism, it was just a lack of doing nothing. What the hell is going on? Why aren't we doing something? Why aren't we, rebuilding America? Why aren't we providing more jobs? It's even before that administration, it's always something though. It's just something, either doing nothing or doing too much and not thinking it through, and in the sense of just being on a high horse and on a whim, saying this is what's happening, and then the next day turn around and say, oh well, that's not really what's happening. This, I've come back and I've done. So it's this real strong flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, and that is another trait of what narcissists do. They want to make this grand stand, and then they flip on it and try to make it look like, oh well, that's just not, it's not really me. I'm just, trying to help. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. But they're not really trying to help. They're just trying to help themselves, and make people believe in that. And the more people that believe in that, the worse it's gonna get. I'm surprised that the common people with common sense don't see that. It's very easy. It's not just that individual. It's all over society. There's friends, bosses, people that are leaders, in other areas of the government who have that same approach. And that's what's killing America. And that's what's keeping us separated. And people keep buying into it, like Americans. We keep buying into it, which is very unhealthy. It's not really building anything new. It's destroying. Destroy, 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 and then we can build. But how do we know that strategy is really going to work? That's just destructive. What I want to hear is the good things and great things and wonderful things that this new administration is really going to do for America. Not this, so far, from what I'm gathering, it's just, like I said this in the past, it's like just, blowing up a bunch of smoke and then seeing what happens, and that's a flip-floppy issue. It's like I can flip-flop around in the smoke. Why people don't really understand what's going on until the smoke goes away, and then we'll see what's happening. But that's being indecisive. That's not leadership. There's no strategy, and a strategy would be a well thought out plan with other members to help you strategize that plan. To really stand a ground and understand what's going to really happen. And so that's, and it's kind of like a barking dog, backyard barking dog. Every time you walk by through the alley, that dog is going to run up to that fence and really raw and just bark and bark and bark. And as soon as you confront the dog, it moves away. It's just like, oh, well, never mind. I'm just trying to be vicious because, I feel like you're close to my fence line. And therefore, that's my job, is to be a protector of sorts and to be a loud barking dog. And we don't need backyard dogs, empowered to be a leader in this country. What we need is individuals who can have common sense and can really think things through before they take action. And that's the problem, is that narcissism people do not think it through. They just take action to stir things up, to bark really loud, and then take it all back, and then bark really loud again. That's all I'm seeing, is this real up and down, emotional, not emotional, but a roller coaster, and so nothing's really set, and so I don't really know. It just throws uncertainty into America. And we are American tears. We don't like uncertainty. We need a strong leader who can actually push things through and actually think it through and come up with a strategy that's going to work. Not this half-assed strategy. Well, it's going to be like this today, it's going to be like that tomorrow, and it's going to go back to that, day after that, it's going to go back to this. That is not a strategy. That is not a plan. That is just being, I don't know what that is, just being narcissistic, just trying to prove to people over and over and over again how great I am and how petty and low other people are, and therefore they better, do what I say or I'm going to bully them, like I was just explaining to you how they do that. They just wait for that one little thing, and then they attack for no real reason. It's just that it was all just manifested in someone's mind to do that. And that's very sad. That's not America. And this is not what the American Tier movement stands for, at all. Well, I don't, it's cool. If you want to come up with great solutions and do wonderful things for America, that's great. I'm up for it. I'm down. I'm happy for that. But if it's not going in that direction, in fact, it's causing more and more division. Like, it's causing more hate groups to organize because now they're feeling like they can start acting like the leadership. We can start barking loud too. And we can hurt people. We can harm people. We can belittle people. We can patronize them. We can second-class individuals now. And that's not cool. That's not America. That's not even being an American Tier. American Tier is completely the opposite of that. And I hope and pray that that will turn into something good. But as far as I can tell, I haven't. All I've seen is a lot of barking, a lot of dirt and smoke being kicked up, and it's just and every day it's kind of like, look how wonderful I am. And that's not leadership. That's dictatorship in a lot of ways. That's someone trying to push toward being a dictator to the American people. And if you don't see that with a common sense way of thinking and really think about it and think it through and understand that personality, which is everywhere. Like I said, it's not just the administration, it's everywhere. It's every city, every small town. We all have to deal with that. Just on a smaller scale, but it's still the same thing. So we got to be careful as American Tiers. We got to approach with some understanding. We got to approach it with a solution that's really going to work and not solutions that may or may not work. That is just kind of like, it's not really doing anything at all. It's just flip-flopping, like I said.